All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we're going to look at a lot of different updates in the blockchain space today. We're looking at the cryptocurrency markets, but also we're going to talk about some big changes coming down the pike for this channel. So if you've been watching these live streams, you've been a part of Dapp University, or maybe you're brand new around here, then I want your input on these things. So we're going to talk about that later on in this video. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. We started today. Last but not least, there's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Just ignore them. I'll never give you my phone number or ask you to invest with me. So let's see here. We got people jumping in the chat here. Let's see. Actually, I think, let's see. Yeah, I'll make sure I have the live stream settings right. Yeah, awesome. Let me know if you can hear me down in the chat. Okay. So we got Culture Highs. Welcome, welcome. So we'll have more people jump in here in a second. So let's go ahead and jump into the first thing that I saw come up yesterday, which is a pretty big deal. All right, let me just pull it up on my screen here. Sorry, get my screen sorted out here. Okay, so yesterday we saw the drops of the Fortune magazine cover for August and September featuring decentralized finance, or DeFi. Okay, talking about how it's competing with crypto. So how crypto is competing with Wall Street. Let me just share my screen here. Sorry, my OBS has gotten messed up. Let me change my scene. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, the first thing is we see crypto versus Wall Street on the cover of Fortune magazine. All right, so this is a pretty big deal. This is a moment where crypto has kind of been elevated in status in a way that it really hasn't before, because they're acknowledging the competition with Wall Street on something as big as Fortune magazine. So it's actually a pretty cool write-up. I don't have a paid subscription to Fortune, so I can't view all the content. But if you want to check this out, definitely go check out the article about DeFi. There's a pretty cool video inside of there that kind of explains this. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So let's see the next thing that I saw come up yesterday. Oh, so one thing we have to stop and recognize is today is Ethereum's 6th birthday. Okay. Let me pull it up on my screen here. So yeah, it's been officially 6 years since the launch of Ethereum. This has been definitely one of the biggest advancements for blockchain technology since Bitcoin started in the first place. We saw other cryptocurrencies come out to try to implement sort of the next thing for crypto. Ethereum was the first to crack it. It's gotten so much attention. It's got so much network effect. So many innovations and applications built on top of it, that it secured this massive, head start in this space to actually becoming the world computer dominant smart contract platform. It's one of the reasons I focus on it so much. People ask me like, hey, why do you talk about Ethereum so much, not other things? So if you're new around here, basically I've been focusing on Ethereum as the biggest bet for this technology to succeed for years, basically since 2017. That's where I devote a lot of my expertise in, because at the end of the day, time is your only non-renewable resource. You can only be an expert in so many things. And so if you want to actually cultivate expertise, you have to be really careful about where you do that. And so when I was getting into blockchain, Ethereum was so the clearest answer to that type of thing. And I had a pretty good feeling that, as time moved on, that they would have a lot of momentum ahead of it that would make it very hard for something else to, overtake its position in the blockchain world. And so to date, that bet has been pretty good, okay, pretty solid. So are there other chains that, can do things long term that might have some utility? I think so, but I think it's going to be really, really, really hard to compete with Ethereum for what it does today. And so we've had 6 years of that. We've had smart contracts on Ethereum for a very long time. We have a rich developer ecosystem. We have, lots of apps with users, utility, billions and billions of dollars liquidity inside of them. We've come a long way in 6 years. I've only been a part of the journey for a little over 4 years, or about 4 years. But yeah, it's pretty impressive milestone. So somebody asked about the changes channel. Yeah, we're going to get to that. I'm waiting for more people to jump into the live stream because I definitely want your all's input on that. Let's look at some other pretty big milestones here. We do see the news of Synthetix officially launching onto Optimism. Okay, so Synthetix is a decentralized liquidity protocol, and a big project in the space. Was one of the leaders in DeFi Summer from 2020. I was early on the Synthetix train, so I still hold Synthetix. Some people ask me what's in my portfolio. Synthetix is one of them. So full disclosure here. But Synthetix has officially launched up with the Optimism Layer 2 scaling solution for the synth trading. Okay, so now basically you can start trading SUSD, ETH, BTC, SBTC, SLink. And you can see all the details here on how to do that on Optimism. So the whole point here is now you can do this for fewer fees. All right, it's cheaper, it's faster, and yeah, this is a big deal because we're at this critical point where apps are starting to move over to Layer 2 Ethereum. We're going to see which Layer 2s get the most adoption, which ones get the most liquidity, because ultimately you need that in order for your Layer 2s to be successful. And the competition's heating up. So we got more videos coming out about different Layer 2s specifically, kind of what I think about them. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. You'll find out about those as soon as we go live, or as soon as we release those. So another thing that we saw come up yesterday is more news about PayPal getting deeper into crypto. Okay, so we saw PayPal roll out support for crypto. Last year, basically letting people just buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, other major cryptocurrencies inside their PayPal account. And we saw this as a huge leap forward. Right? It's a very simple implementation where they could just buy it, keep it in their wallet. I guess they could, sell it. You couldn't really do much with it. But then we saw this kind of incrementally unfold where PayPal, they advanced towards, they expanded their offerings to let their merchants actually accept cryptocurrencies and let people who have PayPal pay with cryptocurrencies within their account. So that was like the next wave. And now we see another sort of push from PayPal to let people start actually trading crypto in the UK, and that they also may embrace DeFi. Okay, so this is pretty big because PayPal is leaning in pretty significantly into this crypto wave. And this is really important because, PayPal is a huge leader in this space in the payments world. And it's critical if they do this and gain a competitive edge this way. This is going to pave the way for other competitors to need to follow suit, especially as crypto starts to continue to eat away at the finance system we have now or get integrated into it. There's lots of debates on is crypto just going to completely eat finance? But I think the more realistic picture is that the two are going to kind of become more of one and the same. We don't exactly know for sure how big everything's going to get, but if it continues on the trajectory that it is, I think the most likely outcome here is that these two things will start to sort of merge and become one, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with PayPal. So that's huge. And the last thing that I wanted to bring up, which I thought was pretty funny, it has a little bit of comic irony to it. Let me just pull it up on my screen here. I'll tell you why it's kind of funny. It's historic, but it's also kind of funny. So this is on OpenSea. So this is a Coca Cola NFT that they're launching. Anyway, I say, okay, I'm kind of over the celebrity, big brand NFTs, all the type of stuff. There's cash grabs, whatever. There's a lot of cynicism around it. But one of the reasons I want to say it's funny, it's historic, it's cool because the more you see big brands launching on this, to me it's all good because the more big brands launch on this NFT trend, it brings awareness to blockchain technology. I think NFTs are how we're going to see a lot of other, just consumer people who don't care about finance get into blockchain. It's going to be sort of their gateway, drug, so to speak. But one of the reasons it's kind of ironic is because somebody actually mentioned the other day, I think it was Anthony Sassano on Twitter. He was talking about how ironic this was because, there's an interview with it was Warren Buffett, who was asked about Charlie Munger's view on Bitcoin, how Charlie Munger had called it rat poison. And she's like, yeah, what do you think about that? Warren Buffett, do you think Bitcoin is rat poison? It's like, well, it's probably rat poison squared. And so people have kind of said, well, that's his view on all blockchain type of technology. And the irony here is that, Warren Buffett has like idolized Coca Cola as this iconic brand for such a long time. And now Coca Cola is launching their NFT on top of Ethereum. So like, yes, it's poetic. Somebody says, LOL, imagine using PayPal to use DeFi. Yeah, totally. But I think the bigger point here is getting the benefit of DeFi without using it directly. I think we're going to see more of that in the future. And I've talked about how I think this is actually a good thing. As long as people who want to do DeFi directly actually have access to do DeFi natively, okay? Because at the end of the day, you're building an open financial system that people can do with it whatever they want to. That's the whole point. If you want to build some crazy centralized app onto it that injects more liquidity into the DeFi world, well, that benefits the people who are actually using DeFi in a censorship-resistant, native way, okay? That's actually a good thing. But what we're going to do is let those people maintain the option to do that, okay? Because at the end of the day, there's going to be plenty of people who won't adapt to the crypto native way of doing things, and that's really fine. I don't really care that much as long as we still have the option to do it. All right, so let's go ahead and check on the prices here. So let's say Bitcoin. So let's go and check on the leader here. So Bitcoin for sure. Yesterday we saw very, very, very thin green candle. And I was actually kind of watching this yesterday at the market close, which, the market close in crypto is kind of an arbitrary thing anyway. Crypto trades 24/7. The only reason it's like statistically significant is to draw candles on a chart. I know that traders look at this stuff and they make decisions based on everything. But really, think about, you could move the close time by like 1 hour and it could completely change how all these candles look. Not all of them, but it could definitely change how this one looked because it turned red after this. But anyways, Bitcoin at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green candles in a row. It's a pretty big deal. Now, of course, we're seeing this nice, hefty red candle form here. We'll see if we can make it back up. But as I've been saying on the channel recently, basically $40,000 is kind of this critical point for Bitcoin. So why is that? Well, basically, we've been in this downtrend. Seeing, let me just kill this line here. Basically, we've been seeing this resistance line here, all right, and we kind of broke past it, which is awesome. But now we kind of have like this is the next resistance line before I get too excited, all right? This is definitely encouraging that we're back up at this level, but I want to see us confidently break this. Of course, we're above these moving averages, which is awesome. I'd love to see us confidently break past $40,000, and sort of the next boss after that is this long-term moving average, okay? So still kind of this waiting game. I very likely we could see some consolidation and chop around here. Might just be a rejection and go down. Hard to say. But before I get too excited, I want to see it definitely break it. So ETH USD for sure saw some gains yesterday relative to Bitcoin, but now we're kind of kind of retracing the gains from yesterday. Same story though. I don't see ETH just like blasting off into infinity while Bitcoin trying to make up his mind about what it wants to do. The only caveat there is next week we do have the release of EIP 1559, the London upgrade for Ethereum, unless something changes in between now and then. Like something always could. But the advertised date is August 4th. Okay, so that is, let's see, today's the 30th, the 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. But was that Wednesday? Anyways, very, very, very soon next week. So we could see some price action around this, even though Bitcoin is still trying to like make up its mind on what it wants to do. It could be a buy the rumor, sell the news situation where the ETH price, falls. We'll have to wait and see. But that's just another event to keep your eyes out for. All right, so you got some of the questions here. Somebody says, who's making fun of NFTs? Boomers. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some changes coming down the pipe for the channel. So the first one is that we've had a lot of people ask about when we're going to do more coding tutorials. So we have got a new batch of coding content in the pipeline that's going to be released pretty soon. So we've kind of debated on how to experiment with some of the new coding content, kind of who to target it for and what we're going to do. So initially, they've got a couple things coming in the pike. We debated on doing a coding live stream versus just doing pre-recorded coding content. So the first thing we're going to come out with for sure is going to be a couple of pre-recorded videos in the pike around some technical topics, actually step-by-step coding instructions, show you how to do some real-world stuff with blockchain that a lot of people have been asking for. Okay, so we got one of those coming out pretty soon, and those will be on the shorter side, probably like 20-ish minutes. But we do have another feature-length, like long step-by-step coding tutorial updated for the latest Solidity versions, all that type of stuff coming down the pike pretty shortly after that. So that will be something that we'll probably get back into the routine of doing, of having these much longer, tutorials, less frequent but higher value coming up pretty soon. Okay, so we've got sort of the pipeline in place of cranking those out. So if we're going to do one thing we talked about with coding content is potentially doing a coding live stream, and I'm trying to figure out the best way we can do this if we end up doing it this way. The question is, do we do it during our normal live stream time, which is now, or do we do it as a separate time? So it's going to be harder for me to do it at a separate time just because my schedule gets really busy outside of just creating these videos. I actually have a lot going on behind the scenes than you might think. So the question is, if we end up doing coding live stream, would you all attend it if we did it at our live stream time? That's sort of the question. So they would attend, during our normal time. Okay. So we might have to experiment with some of this. So some of this stuff, like I said, we have to kind of experiment and see what works, especially with my schedule. So the next thing to talk about is basically, somebody says, how long will the stream be since it's coding? Assume longer. Somebody says, so there's a couple things to think about here. So I'm really just kind of thinking all this out. That's one of the reasons I want to talk about on the stream today was actually to have some, sort of dedicated audience members here to hash out some of the details. This can help us kind of implement this. So how long would it be? It's a good question because, doing everything live takes longer than just like recording a video and then editing it. Like it might, if I was going to record like a 20-30 minute YouTube video for coding, it might take me like 45 minutes to an hour to actually have time to sort of record it. And then, somebody edits it later and then releases it. If you do it live, it might take like 45 minutes to an hour to actually do something relatively simple. Like if we were to like bootstrap your first contracts to like actually launch a DeFi token and launch it on Uniswap, like on a test network, not on a main network, and they show you how to like instantly trade it and add liquidity, like that still might take like 45 minutes of live coding. Now, some of this stuff might be like where we can, do some shortcuts where not everything is completely 100% step by step, but you still get a lot of value out of it. And that could speed up the process for sure. I'm trying to find the best balance of giving you information quickly, but they're just like keeping you up to date on how this stuff works. And I think for some of the more fundamental skills of, like, let's say you're a brand new coder, you're probably going to get more out of the step-by-step longer coding tutorials that I release on YouTube, which will be more like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours even. Because those, I can't do those live, you know what I mean? Actually, I had to sit down and record them, but then I send them to an editor and they get really polished, and you can sit down and actually, follow it step by step and actually learn the code. So somebody says, let's see here. Let's see here. Somebody says, would you announce the live streams ahead of time? So we would announce ahead of time if we did it, but we would probably just do it, like we'd probably just pick a specific day of the week and then just like stick to that week as a dedicated day. So maybe it's Monday, maybe it's Friday, something like that. We'd probably just say, hey, this is this dedicated day, and then that's when we do the streams. So yeah, we can definitely, we'll definitely have to experiment on some of that. So somebody says, change the thumbnails. Yeah, so unfortunately, that's kind of how the YouTube game works. I'm telling you, I've made YouTube videos for a very, very long time. If I were to just make a YouTube thumbnail that just says, how to do blank, nobody's going to watch it. Trust me, I've been on YouTube for almost 4 years. It's crazy. It's crazy how it works. People don't click because they want information. People have to be disrupted by a video as they scroll through their feed, because what they're doing is they're sitting on their phone. Whenever most people are on social media, they're usually supposed to be working and they're not working, or they're like sitting on their couch, or they're like in bed when they wake up or before they go to sleep, or like in the bathroom. That's like when most people are on social media. And so when they're in that phase, they're not in like a concentrated searching phase. Like they're scrolling through their feed and they're basically just like kind of zoned out. And so what disrupts you when you zone out? Well, something has to like kind of catch your attention. And so what catches people's attention? Human faces, emotions, other things in a thumbnail that communicate a certain emotion that disrupts what you're doing. Okay. So that's how it works. And then you have to have some sort of keywords that people know what it's about. And then that's what gets people to click on videos. And then when they're inside of it, you actually have to have content that delivers what is valuable. That's how the game works. Trust me, I've tested it. Let's see here. So the other thing to talk about for the live streams is if we do the coding content, or regardless if the coding content actually ends up on the live stream. Like I'm still not 100% sure that we're going to end up doing it live, because we'll have to wait and see. All right, but the next thing about the live stream is I'm thinking about moving the time ahead. So basically, we've been starting around 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So wherever you are right now, like 25 minutes before now. Initially, we started this live stream 30 minutes before that when I started doing them. So that was 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So 30 minutes earlier. And if we end up doing more different content, with everything else I got going on kind of behind the scenes, moving the live stream ahead will definitely buy me back some more time. So the question is, if we end up moving ahead, 30 minutes, I don't know what times that everybody's in. Does that put any conflicts for anybody? I don't see any initial objections in here. Yeah, earlier works better. Somebody says the movie would be better. Yeah, I'm thinking the movie's gonna be better for everybody. I don't see any clear objections. So basically, yeah, I want to just announce it ahead of time though, because I don't want to like start doing it earlier and then people like, hey, where's the live stream? Or they feel like they missed it. So yeah, I think earlier is gonna be better for me too, and I think it's gonna work for everybody else too. Somebody says don't do it when BitBoy show is on. No, I'm not gonna do it when other people have their streams on. That's one reason I'm doing the earlier stream. But that's why other people want to do it later, so they can just go watch what everybody else talked about on YouTube, and they don't have to do any research. I figure at the end of the day, people can always watch it after if it has any conflicts. So what's my percentage holdings ratio of BTC ETH? That's a good question. So ETH's about 85%, Bitcoin's about 10%, and then the rest of 5%'s DeFi. So mostly Aave, a little bit of Synthetix. Okay, everybody. I think that pretty much covers it for the updates. So, so a quick summary. We've got a bunch of coding stuff coming down the pike, and a lot of people ask me about this. So we definitely are doing that. I've got two big pieces of content planned. We'll probably just start off doing them pre-recorded and then released on YouTube, and then we can reserve the live stream time to talk about more like daily updates. We might experiment with coding live streams down the road. I also might bring on my assistant, Zed, to help me do that. He helps me prep a lot of the coding tutorials. We're doing this in the blockchain mastery program, all that type of stuff. So you might see him on here if we end up doing those. But I don't have any promises on that yet. But the last big thing is I'm probably going to go ahead and start doing the live stream earlier, probably starting next week. So probably on Monday. No promises yet, but probably on Monday we'll start 30 minutes earlier. So if you end up showing up at 10 o'clock on Monday or 10 a.m. Central Time, then you might be catching the tail end of it. All right, everybody. That's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. It really helps these videos out so the more people learn about blockchain. If you're as fast at this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? You can go to my YouTube homepage. You find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, actually become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. Just be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.